Okay, Cerebrolysin for ADD, ADHD. Also really anything that's neuroinflammation based, addiction, recovery. I mean, this is another Cerebrolysin hype video because there's just not enough people talking about this. And I understand why, because it's something that has to be injected. It's actually a biologic. You really can't get it in the United States. It's actually right now it's produced in Austria, but this is something this is used in 50 different countries. There's 60 years of human clinical trials that show safety and efficacy for neurodegenerative conditions, Alzheimer's, dementia, ADD, ADHD, autism, so many different things. It's been looked at for neuropathy. It's just the number of studies is, if you go to PubMed, there's 530 studies on Cerebrolysin. It's a disgrace that this isn't a frontline treatment in the United States when it is a frontline treatment in other countries, for dementia, for Alzheimer's, for traumatic brain injury. I mean, the healing potential with this stuff is just, it blows everything else away, even for people that are just looking for, the quote unquote nootropic. They want the cognitive edge that everybody's looking for, that you go on YouTube and you hear all these nootropic channels and they're all plugging their own supplements or racetams. But when you dig into the nootropics, which I've done, and I've tried all of them, and it's a very unimpressive market. There's a few things that are really good. Not to say that some people don't respond well to some racetams, but I mean, if you really dig into racetams, it's very hit or miss with people. And it's like, these are things that study-wise, I haven't seen enough studies on racetams to even justify that they're safe to use long-term. And it's something where a lot of them, you're supposed to take them daily. And my thing is, I don't want to be taking a synthetic compound daily unless I really know what it's doing, if it's been studied properly. To me, that just doesn't make sense. If something is working really well, I'm going to feel it the same day. And that's the nice thing about peptides and biologics, is what I found is those things that fit your kind of puzzle, that fit for what works for you, they work quickly. And I wasn't sure if those compounds even existed, because like I say, I tried, so much stuff. Probably easily 10 years I spent trying just about anything and everything, going to the health food store and just seeing something and researching it and endlessly researching and thinking, okay, this one sounds great, where it's, okay, this is going to work on, gut issues and inflammation. It's going to heal this, and this. And I'm like, wow, I'm going to feel great with this. And I'd buy it and I'd take it and I'd be like, this does nothing. I don't feel anything. And again, not to say herbals and natural medicine doesn't have its uses. It absolutely does, and there are some great things, but I just haven't seen anything profound with it. I haven't experienced, for severe chronic health issues, you need more than naturopathic medicine. That's 100% apparent. And it's because we don't live in a natural world anymore. We're bombarded by foreign synthetic chemicals that our body's never been exposed to. It's just, we're in this chronic, unnatural, stressful lifestyle that everybody is under unnatural amounts of chronic inflammation. So to me, it makes sense that we need more powerful compounds, things that, are the best combination of modern medicine and what makes sense naturally within the body, that the body's going to recognize how to use. And in my opinion, that's biologics, that's bioidenticals, these molecules that the body recognizes, it knows how to utilize them. Not to say that there's no chance of side effects. You can absolutely have side effects with bioidenticals and peptides. There's just, anybody telling you that there's no side effects is lying to you. But the side effects are much more short-lived. A peptide half-life is very short, where it's the degree of side effects is significantly lower. It's easy to mitigate them, and the healing potential and what I've seen them do surpasses everything else. And that's why you're seeing, the people in the know that are into functional and regenerative medicine and this more progressive health model, or everybody's moving to this stuff. It's blowing up on, in the regenerative and anti-aging space, but obviously that's nowhere near mainstream. So, and that's where Cerebrolysin resides, is in this functional regenerative medicine space. And even in the US, because it's, you know, it's not FDA approved, you can't source it. It's not like you can get it from a compounding pharmacy in the United States. So the vast majority of doctors, they won't even look at it. The ones that know about it, you know, once the FDA, so they reclassified it a biologic about I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. So we used to be able to get Cerebrolysin from a compounding pharmacy in the United States. And like I say, this is a pharmaceutical drug. This has patent. This has been studied. And it's safe and effective. Like I say, 60, 70 years worth of literature showing that this is an effective treatment for many different conditions. But so my thing with it is, okay, I mean, how many people are struggling with ADD or ADHD, or, you know, obviously, you know, I'm just posting about my group about people that have chronic Lyme and mold that have significant neural inflammation. You know, these people are contacting me all the time with terrible brain fog. They can't focus. They can't remember anything. Because, you know, I'm not ever going to claim that I'm a Lyme expert, but I've studied, I've listened to enough people where, you know, they say that Lyme can move into the brain, and when it does that, it just wreaks havoc. End of story. Lyme wreaks havoc. And so I've had a few clients that we have very carefully introduced Cerebrolysin, because Lyme people obviously can be extremely reactive to things. So we have to introduce very low and very slow, microdose everything. These are simple concepts. I don't understand why, you know, some of these doctors, practitioners don't understand this with Lyme. That's a side rant anyways. But yeah, Cerebrolysin, from brain healing, from neural inflammation standpoint, it blows things away. I mean, I don't know of any other compound that has the healing capabilities that Cerebrolysin has, with the safety, with the studies, with everything that backs it up. So Cerebrolysin is real bioidentical. Well, it's not even bioidentical. It is actual brain growth factors. It is porcine derived. They use enzymatic hydrolysis to isolate actual brain growth factors. BDNF, ciliary nerve growth factor. I'm going to butcher these names. NGF, nerve growth factor, and there's, I don't know. Oh, glial cell derived nerve cell growth factor. I don't know, people. There's actual brain growth factors. It actually has vitamins. It has minerals. This is like a brain superfood. But there is no compound in existence that contains actual BDNF. Now, BDNF is linked with depression, with anxiety. If your BDNF is depleted, it's literally miracle grow for the brain. It is, you know, it's like the body needs growth hormones to repair and to do all of its functions, where the brain needs BDNF. BDNF is like it is growth factors for the brain. I can't stress how much potential this has. And when I finally looked into this, because I've been looking for something that can heal traumatic brain injuries for a long time. I played football, you know, I'm ADD, I binge drank, I did all the wrong things. So I created a really big mess with neural inflammation, and it manifested with anxiety and depression and mood swings and all this crap. And so I've been on this journey to try to heal that without using pharmaceutical medications that, to me, didn't make sense in the long term. Short term, yes, do whatever you have to do to get through the day. You know, if you're struggling horribly, you know, there's a time where I had to take a benzodiazepine at one time because my anxiety had gotten so bad and I stopped sleeping. There's a time I had horrible depression from, you know, that coming back from insomnia. They put me on like a mood stabilizer. I never took an SSRI, but end of story. I mean, the big picture is there was a time I needed some things, some pharmaceutical medications before I knew of other stuff that at least got me through. And, you know, I long term, I knew I didn't want to stay on that stuff. So I took it because I knew I had to do something. Something had to be done. It reached that level. So don't feel bad if you're at that point. But if you're in that situation and you've had to take medications and you don't want to continue down that road, you know, there's a way that you could mitigate the downsides with, you know, proper diet, supplements, some peptides, where it's a lot of peptides don't interact with this. So you can focus on healing inflammation and stay on those medications if you have to, and you're going to benefit. You're going to improve your situation. Or if you're saying, you know what, I don't want to, this isn't the path I want to take, then you can look into stuff like NAD plus and cerebrolysin and peptides to actually heal and recover the brain. It is 100% possible. And when I was going through my struggles and studying and endlessly researching, there was plenty of times I'm like, I don't know if there's anything that exists that can actually heal. Like I said, I kind of struck out with the herbal stuff. Everything has its place, and it might work for someone. So don't ever just write something off. Like, if you're on this journey and you're determined to improve your situation, then you have to try everything. And that's what I've done. And with the Project Biohacks kind of brand and everything I'm doing, I'm just trying to share those things that have helped me, to leave a roadmap for people, that so maybe they can cut a couple of years off from what I experienced, which was a 10-year, at times a freaking nightmare, of trying to battle back from this stuff and finding no practitioners, can't find anybody that has the right tools and the right knowledge that helps me. There's plenty of people with a great speech that, they have the answers and they're going to figure it out. And there's people like that. They are out there. You do need to run the test if you can afford it. But like I said, some of us, we hit a point where nothing's working. We've tried to work with the practitioners. We've tried the testing, and we're still coming up short. So I'm trying to present the options that I've seen that can really move the needle and make a difference. And Cerebrolysin is 100% one of those things. Present it to your doctor, talk to your practitioner about it. Say, hey, look at these medical studies, look at these human clinical trials. What about this thing? And there's a doctor in a clinic in California that is using Cerebrolysin. I mean, all this stuff, you find the regenerative doctors that are doing this. It's expensive, but they do exist. You can find the people that are doing this. And then the other option is sourcing direct online, which is, it's kind of like play at your own risk. It is something a lot of people are doing. It's something that, some of us, it's the only situation, it's the only option we have. So if you're going to do it, I try to just share what I've done and how to do so carefully and very, mitigate the risk of doing so. Luckily, there's a lot. What we do have is we have a large database of people that are sourcing online. So we do have a lot of feedback to know, like, okay, this supplier or this company is consistently putting out a quality product that's not hurting people, that aren't having reactions. So that information is out there. Obviously, I have to be careful with how I word this, not say this. I'm not a medical professional. I coach people. When I coach, I am working from a position of, I'm just guiding you. I'm giving you advice on how I would approach a situation. I can't prescribe. I can't act as a physician. But I can share the stuff that I've found to be kind of life-changing. And Cerebrolysin is one of those things. The other one I wanted to just touch on real quick is cortexin, which is another biologic, another thing that you're not going to come across very often. And especially for what I was talking about with ADD and, chronic Lyme and mold, those people that really struggle and need to have these powerful brain healing compounds, these are the big needle movers where you can start to feel a difference. You can start to get progress. Not to say that these things are going to resolve everything, but they have the potency and the strength to get the ball rolling, to actually start feeling better. And you can, nothing works for everybody, but for a portion of people, this is going to become one of those staple tools that you can use long term, that you can lean on when you're struggling. Obviously, cycle everything. Really be careful with what you're doing. And that ties into, the membership I created, which I'm trying to share. Like I say, I'm sharing all the information that can guide people on how to use these things safely and effectively. Really help kind of share the big picture information that I've come across from just years and years of trial and error, and listening to a lot of this isn't me, just my opinion. This is based on listening to the most intelligent people in medicine, in functional medicine, anti-aging, regenerative. This is just me reiterating the things that I've heard time and time again. Every time I find something great, I research it. I listen to, I find the top experts who are talking about it, and I listen to what they're saying. And that's me when I focus in on something, I focus. And this is my kind of obsession, is finding these things that that can be life-changing for people. That's what gets me excited, is finding stuff that can really turn it around, because I've gone through really bad health struggles and I know what it is to feel like shit. And I've recovered from that. You know, it's not to say that I'm 100%, you know, cured all my issues, but I found a lot of tools that make my day-to-day very manageable. And, you know, my good days are great now, and the bad days, I know how to get through them, you know, much easier. I'm no longer, you know, worried that I'm going to have panic attacks and it's going to lead into insomnia and all these other, you know, horrible issues I've gone through that I know other people have experienced too. But it took a long time to get there, and it took a lot. It takes quite a variety of things to, you know, kind of manage my health issues, which are just, it is what it is. This is the deal I got dealt. But like I say, I was just, you know, it was one of those days. I feel really good from Cortexin. I keep wanting to share the stuff that I think can make a big difference for people. I don't want to just keep talking about something new that, you know, oh, this is the newest supplement, this is the newest, you know, MLM garbage that you know could pay well, but does it actually do anything? I'd rather talk about the shit that I think can get people results, and that's, to me, exciting to hear the feedback on. So I'll keep just pumping this stuff out there, and maybe some people watch it. But that's it. Yeah, I was just one little hyped up, share some more Cerebrolysin stuff with you guys. That's all I got. Hair's looking flossy. Peace.